But then I think about reality and how this reality has the most absurd complex magic system ever. I think the brain cell is 100% theoretical. Buckle up, chat! We're making our way to Poo Poo Point all the way down to Pee Pee Creek. Hell yeah, boy! Hoshi, 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 Hosh, how ye, 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 you YouTube! I'm Stellatrix coming at you live from a starship near you. Today we will be perceiving Earth has terrible world building by Curious Archive. Personally speaking, if I had to make one big critique about the world building of Earth, is the terrible respawn times. And quite frankly, it's pay to win. Nobody likes a pay to win game. But I'm real curious to see the other points. So strap in, strap on, and let's go perceive.
Because I'm a huge fan of world building,
Nerd!
I wish I was as impressed with the Earth project as everyone else.
I actually, as a story writer, a book writer, a creator, if you will, I love the writing part. I hate the world building. I'm gonna outsource my world building to you guys. I've mentioned this before. I'm so tired of world building. I just want to write the dang story.
Like, sure, with its long evolutionary history, detailed storyline, and complex magic system, this setting is amazingly full of sloppy mistakes. That's right, I'm stepping into the ring.
Hey, it is full of mistakes. But everyone has that one thing that is objectively trash that they freaking love. And for some reason, as an alien from outer space, out of all of the many worlds that I could have theoretically picked, I chose yours to orbit and harass. I don't know if that says more about you or me, but it says something.
Today I'm doing a full takedown of Earth's so-called realism. Okay, first problem, physics. At a glance, Earth's physics system seems pretty reliable, especially when compared to other pieces of media.
Until you get to freaking quantum physics. That's not an Earth problem. That's a this reality problem. Physics makes sense right until you get to the tiny, tiny little things. And then they just do whatever they want. And then we call it quantum physics. Like, Earth, like this reality has two magic systems. We have physics, and then we have quantum physics. We literally have two magic systems. A third one if you count belief as its own magic system. Not even getting metaphysical here.
But look close enough and you'll definitely see the sloppy oversights. Like how a human can put their hand in molten metal and avoid getting burned if they remove it fast enough. Supposedly, this is because of something called the Leidenfrost effect, wherein a layer of rapidly evaporating moisture shields the colder object. But I don't know, sounds like an excuse for shoddy craftsmanship. And there's some huge incompatibility between relativistic and quantum physics? That's embarrassing.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
A setting's magic system would typically smooth over such inconsistencies. But supposedly, magic isn't a thing on Earth. And any spells performed are just clever bits of trickery. Okay, then explain this.
Whoa!
But seriously, when your primary mode of transportation is the car, a metal creature with arcane innards that only a specialized form of wizard called a mechanic is able to tame, you've still got a magic system. You've just called it something else. And like—
I freaking love this guy! I love it. Arthur C. Clarke, who? He's so right. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Absolutely right. Stay wondering. Maintain your sense of wonder about reality because this is wonky as hell. And it's cool. It's weird, it's awful, it's great, and it's cool.
light is both a wave and a particle. Yeah, pretty sure that's called witchcraft. Earth's habit of overcomplicating perfectly good systems is apparent with how the project handles the elements. The classical elements of yore kept things classy. only playing the hits of water, fire, air, and some variation of the earthy, rocky, minerally stuff that makes up the ground. Basically, things
Sometimes
you can
metal and
see
wood got invited too, yeah, if you were Chinese.
and feel. These early systems usually had lovely symmetry and some nice rock, paper, scissors style power scaling. Exactly.
Chat! Rock, paper, scissors. Right now, rock, paper, scissors. This is so funny. Why did nobody pick paper? Why is nobody picking paper? I love... Rock, paper, scissors is... Okay. Rock, paper, scissors is a game of psychology. Okay, I had a really funny incident with Helios the other day. Helios, I know you're gonna watch this video, and I'm calling you out right now. So, Helios, I've told you guys, Helios is a really good fighter. He's literally an anime protagonist. Like, grew up feral in the woods with a weird man teaching him how to swing a sword type. Helios and I played rock, paper, scissors to see who would do this chore. And we did rock, paper, scissors. And I threw, I don't remember which one I threw, but I threw my sign out. And there was this tiny little nanosecond where he hesitated and then chose what to do. And it was almost imperceptible that, like, it was so quick and so imperceptible that I doubted myself for a second. I was like, did he really do that? There's no way. But he beat me, and I call him out on it. And I was like, no, absolutely not. No, I see what you just freaking did. You just freaking jutsu'd me. You tried to use your anime protagonist superpowers to throw your sign out a split second after I threw mine out so that you could win. And I just caught you in the freaking act, and he was just like, you're the first person that has ever caught me doing that. I was like, no, you go do the chore right now. You do the chore, you freaking cheater. So he did the chore, and he was whining about how I was the first and only person to ever actually catch him doing that. Because he does it so quickly. Because he's a literal freaking anime protagonist. He can move and process so freaking fast. And I'm just like, I have been your wife since the dawn of time. I pay attention to everything that you do. I know the truth. I know what you are. Perception was not my dump stat. I have so many dump stats. Perception is not one of them.
As it should be. But uh-oh, the medieval alchemists have gotten a hold of these systems, and they want to add mercury, sulfur, and salt? Okay, that's fine, Mr. von Hohenheim, as long as no one adds any more.
Von Hohenheim! Bro, just throwing in the Full Metal Alchemist references, of course.
Oh boy. What have you done to us, Dimitri?
What did you do to Dimitri?
You know, I've thought before, as somebody who's like writing a book and world building and everything, I oftentimes feel like if you have to get super complex and granular with your magic system, then it might not be a good magic system. If you can't write something that is simple and explains, it is intelligible and explains everything, then you might, it's not necessarily a bad system, but it might not be a great system. But then I think about reality and how this reality has the most absurd complex magic system ever. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. This guy is staring into my soul.
Now, it's a huge mess. Sure, some periodic elements like helium grant the wielder obvious powers, like levitation, some have decent splash damage, and some even make for horrific destruction spells. But this many elements means the quality control is pretty spotty. We've got Rutherfordium, Californium, is that what it's made of? An unenium? And that one might not even exist. Get out of here. Just goes to show that when it comes to enium, and that one
Unenium. That is the most, like, that is more absurd than unobtainium.
might not even exist. Get out of here. Just goes to show that when it comes to world building, complexity isn't always more engaging. I mean, no one is going to be taking a which periodic element are you quiz. Oh, that's spot on, actually. So physics is a bust. How about biology?
I love
Well, again,
frog.
it's certainly complicated, but there's still no consistency between what gets included and what gets left out for being unrealistic. Past critics have rightly pointed out the absurdity that unicorns are mythical within this setting, but giraffes, leopard moose camels with a 40-foot neck, give or take, are completely normal, nothing to see here, it's fine that they eat bones.
I once knew a girl who pretended that giraffes were fake. And honestly, I understand her. They should be fake.
Also, some turkeys can spontaneously impregnate themselves, butterflies taste with their feet, and some sea turtles can breathe.
It is monarch butterfly season, spoobs! Make sure you're going out and checking your milkweed nearby and helping raise your local monarch butterfly population. They are some very important pollinators, and you can actively contribute to their, propagation as a species by finding monarch eggs and then raising them in a jar, and you just give them some milkweed and then you let them go when they're butterflies.
That they're posterior. So all that and no dragons feels pretty arbitrary, to be honest. But nothing's quite as arbitrary as who gets to be the star of the show: humans. Lots of these silly things rushing about, around 8 billion, which is probably fine. They come in all different looks, but all have the same impractical drawbacks. Wisdom teeth they have to remove, appendices they have to remove, goosebumps because they still think they have fur, these little fleshy eye corners because they still think they have third eyelids, foreheads they can't even directly see. Oh, and most absurd of all, they can't hold their nose and hum at the same time. Wait, is that true?
Wait.
It is true, that's so weird.
My mouth just fills with air!
That these things took over on a planet with lions, crocodiles, and this
And
thing.
this?
Oh, but humans are smart, are they? Greed, pollution, the shake weight. I could stop there, but let's look
shake
at
weight.
something really basic like currency. In most fictional settings, objects have value if they're made of a valuable material. Something logical, like a rare mineral or unicorn snot. But in Earth's latest chapters, most forms of value are instead tied up in hypothetical worth assigned to paper or just electronic digits.
I'm just waiting for the tree corpse bubble to pop, chat. For this weird paper stuff to stop being significant. It honestly, like, messes me up thinking about how, like, digital purchases and stuff, like, is this real dollar bills? What the heck?
That means you have characters buying food, exchanging houses, working long hours, losing everything, going hungry, and committing atrocities all over something whose meaning is 100% theoretical. Feels a bit too pessimistic.
Aren't all of our meetings 100% theoretical? I think the brain cell is 100% theoretical.
Feels a bit too pessimistic, to be honest. Oh, and speaking of food and pessimism, oh no. Oh, that's not right. But forget artificial nightmare concoctions for a moment and meet Mentha specta, an all-natural plant that produces a noxious chemical compound to keep animals from chowing down. But humans call it mint and put it in their food and calming tea and toothpaste because they love that refreshing, burning flavor.
I don't.
They've
I hate
also
it.
bred peppers
I
to
hate
be
it.
as hot as possible because they apparently can't get enough of that sweet capsaicin.
Coffee is also a poison.
An ingredient
Caffeine.
classified as a chemical irritant and neurotoxin. Okay, maybe it does make sense these things took over. So maybe some points for Earth there, but how about geography? Because in world building, a consistent map usually means a consistent world, and Earth's map is, as you can see, wildly inconsistent. In theory, this is really the fault of Earth's shape, since flattening out a globe into a rectangular projection messes up the scale no matter what, as this country size comparison website demonstrates. Here you can see that Australia is actually... Whoa, is that right? And Greenland
What?
is only... Really? Don't even get me started on Liechtenstein. But seriously, is it so impossible to make an accurate map? Watch, you just take both sides of the globe, and then you just sort of... Okay, you just gotta... Yeah, that looks right. But how about place names? Well, not to overstep, but some of these names strike me as a bit silly. And the stories behind them are off...
Buckle up, chat! We're making our way to Poo Poo Point all the way down to Pee Pee Creek! Hell yeah, boy!
and the stories behind them are often even sillier. For example, there are upwards of 6 rivers in the UK called the River Avon. And though it's hard to find an exact source, the general theory goes that this is because when the Romans invaded and they asked the Celts, what's that river called? The
Insert think about the Roman Empire joke here. Laugh track.
Celts would say Avon, and the Romans were like, cool, and wrote it down, not realizing Avon is just
river.
the Celtic word for river.
Yep.
Of course, another explanation is that whoever made this map is super lazy. Beyond place names, Earth linguistics are generally a bit catawampus. In effective fictional language...
Catawampus! I discovered the word furky doodling. It's an old-timey word to describe making out furky doodling. Isn't that so fun? Furky doodling! Furky doodle went to town riding on a pony.
or conlang should have reasonably consistent rules for the audience's
the blue
benefit.
people!
For research, I wrote the script of this video in English. In Earth conlang, which is complete nonsense. This, I think we can all agree, is not a sentence. The English wiki might claim it's a sentence, but it is not correct. English spelling has equal clownery afoot. Like, friends is spelled with the I before the E. Fair enough, that's apparently where it goes except after C. Unless your foreign neighbor Keith receives 8 counterfeit beige sleighs from feisty caffeinated weightlifters. Or with all these. Also, why is it, as one scholar notes, that writers write and painters paint, but fingers don't fing? Why don't hammers ham or dumpsters dumpst? Yeah, do yourself a favor and just learn Klingon. So, more points off for linguistics and geography. How about music? Well, Earth admittedly has a pretty great soundtrack. Difficult to choose a favorite. I mean, hard to beat a cuneiform classic like the Hurrian Hymn. Tree frog sounds are pretty good, waterfalls, Hieronymus Bosch gave us a definite banger with his 15th century butt music, and Purple Haze is also pretty good. No, my real complaint when it comes to Earth's soundtrack are these instruments. Because I've actually got a replica of an in-universe stringy whatever, and it doesn't sound nearly as good as Mr. Hendrix's. I looked on the wiki, and apparently learning to play an Earth instrument requires time and effort. This is apparently true for any meaningful Earth art form, and you have to be emotionally vulnerable.
You're telling me that if I want to do a thing, I have to learn how to do the thing, and I have to talk about my feelings? Learning in this economy? Skip it. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna get the thinky robot to do it for me. Thank you. You know, like, why even stream actually? Why stream when I could just like have an AI do it for me? That's a great idea. I should make a religion out of that.
Definitely don't like that. But hang on, what about the storyline? Well,
wait a minute. Alternatively, you can just criticize others online.
well, I skimmed through most of the plot at some place called a library, and wow, this project needs an editor. First of all, the timeline itself is way too long. Having hundreds of millions of years be all dinosaurs is ridiculous, no matter how cool they were. As it stands, the T-Rex lived further away from Stegosaurus than from modern humans, which...
That screws me up.
And zero dinosaur-human overlap feels like a pretty obvious missed opportunity. No, birds don't count, they don't hunt people, except for that one time. The timeline gets far messier. Sharks, everyone's favorite murder fish, are supposed to have been swimming around for longer than the evolution of trees.
Freaking, I said this at one point in the History of the Entire World video, I think it was, where I mentioned that sharks were older than trees, or dinosaurs were older than trees. And I got so many comments that were like, does she think that dinosaurs didn't have trees? Checkmate, dinosaurists!
They're also older than the formation of Saturn's rings and older than one of the points in the Polaris system, aka the North Star. Yes, more ancient than the birth of an actual star. I get that sharks are a cool bit of world building, but that's overdoing it. Also, Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than the pyramid's construction, and there are parts of the Appalachian Mountains older than the evolution of bones. A timeline this muddled and lengthy makes getting invested in any one character pretty difficult. Tycho Brahe seems promising. He became a renowned astronomer,
Honestly, when we think about and look at stuff like this and how nonsensical it is, I really do understand why there are so many people who doubt evolution and the Big Bang and stuff, because it really is so hard to wrap your brain around this. Especially if you've grown up being told your whole life that these things aren't real. Because it really is so complex and it's so beautiful. And honestly, yeah, at least in America, the school system does a terrible job of explaining evolution and explaining carbon dating, and how carbon dating is only just one form of checking to see how old something is. This is why I really do believe in education being the best way forward towards making a better world, and why in my books the school system is going to be so prominent, and I'm really going to think of how to make the best school system I possibly can, because it's so important. Are we dating carbon now? I think she's in an on-again, off-again relationship with oxygen.
Lost his nose in a duel over a mathematical formula and got a bronze one, lived in a castle, once owned 1% of the wealth in Denmark, had a pet moose that died after getting wasted and falling down the stairs, until finally Mr. Brahe himself passed away peacefully. Just kidding, he might have been murdered? Sounds like a character worth following, but Tycho was tearing it up for an all-too-short 53 years. Earth's plotline covers 4.5 billion years.
Billion with a B.
The fleeting nature of existence is actually an issue you'll run into with every character, which makes caring about anyone, on some level, an inherently tragic experience, and I don't like it. Glass sponges have things figured out, though. The cosmic unfairness of the human condition aside, Earth's storyline leaves a lot to be desired in terms of believability. It rained frogs for a minute, a bear named Wojtek served in World War II and was promoted to the rank of corporal, the US government once lost a nuclear
Wait a minute! Chad, is this true? Bears really be doing everything.
bomb. Whew, can you imagine? A dog played in the NBA, it looks like? Oh yeah, and this exists. And was sold. Humans bought this.
I used to do that for free with my ponytail as a kid. I actually got in trouble in school for hitting people with my ponytail, which I never did, mind you, at least not on purpose.
Hey, speaking of technology, Earth is full of tech, a lot of which seems to have no function but to breed nightmares. In keeping with this project's penchant for hypercomplexity, even the most ordinary objects have ludicrous amounts of lore behind how they're made, especially compared to other settings. I'm not sure we need all this to explain where bubblegum comes from. It's bubblegum. When it comes to inventions, humans get credit for most ideas. Dolphins came up with the printing press, but nobody tell them. And have worked
So long, and thanks for all the fish, the dolphins say as they blast off of Earth.
their way reasonably far up the tech tree. With such hits as masonry, pottery, the wheel, what a classic. Gunpowder, splitting the atom, the internet. Uh-oh. Yes,
How do
for
I
every
unbake a
smashing
cake?
success like
Oh god, the passage of entropy comes for us all.
refrigeration or washing their hands, humans have created a double-edged nightmare like leaded gasoline, microplastics, Yahoo Answers. Yes, the work of an enlightened species. And this is just tech that caught on for a time. There's all sorts of insane stuff either forgotten in the past or yet to be added in future Earth updates.
That's a reference.
Looking down the technological tree, it's hard not to wonder exactly where the human plotline is headed. Because there are lots of inventions
that makes me
seem primed
sad.
for absolutely horrific consequences. Too many, I'd argue. Like, it's a bit much to keep foreshadowing a robot apocalypse, a climate apocalypse, a nuclear apocalypse, and a genetic engineering apocalypse. You need to pick one. With all these looming potentialities, combined with the crushing weight of mortality inherent to the human condition, it seems unrealistic that this species would be able to emotionally function at all. Well, supposedly, they've got something to help them sort through all those
Arguably, we don't function.
fears and questions of existence. It's called philosophy, and it comes in many flavors.
I thought he was going to say religion.
Okay, we've got anthropocentrism, which basically says humans rule, humans are number one, they're separate from nature and definitely not still connected to a complex web of ecological interdependence beyond their control, and nothing is ever likely to take humanity down a peg. We'll see how that one works out. There are various forms of essentialism, which is the idea that all things have some set of inherent traits that determine their identity, and therefore everything can be categorized categorized. This links back to the older theory of forms and that time Plato defined man as a featherless biped. Behold, a man. Yeah, I'll be honest, far from categorizable, every single facet of the earth seems pretty darn wiggly and determined by subjective experience to me, but what do I know? If you think essentialism is lame but still wish things were less wiggly, there's always empiricism, the philosophy of using research and the 5 basic human senses to figure out what the universe's deal is. Pretty solid idea, although
I missed all of
things
that
were
because
less
I was
wiggly,
distracted by the Gerudo Valley music.
There's always empiricism, the philosophy of using research and the 5 basic human senses to figure out what the universe's deal is. Pretty solid idea, although human senses are absolutely bonkers. Most have veritable labyrinths of tissue that translate acoustic vibrations in the air into electrical impulses. That's called hearing. Biological lenses that can turn reflected photons into portraits of their surroundings, or seeing. Smell is a process in which humans inhale molecules from the surrounding air and their olfactory nerves tell them if it's pleasant or yucky. Touch.
Every rancid poop you've ever smelled lives on forever inside of you. That's a poop particle that you've inhaled. Congratulations.
Seems to work the same way, except with nerves all over the body, and most humans need to touch other humans with some regularity or else they get quite sad.
True.
Seems pretty tough, to be honest. And then there's taste, where humans slather their gross, fleshy mouth organs all over something to decide if they want to consume it.
I hate this.
Add up all those other
Ew.
senses that no one remembers, and you've got a pretty solid argument that empiricism and direct observation can teach you everything. Except for the problem that
I don't
human
think so.
senses lie to them all the time, as proven by the existence of optical illusions. Is this an old woman or a young woman?
If this one has ever confused you, this is the old woman's mouth right here and her chin, and this is her nose. This is her eye. But the young woman, this is her nose. And this is her chin. And that's a necklace. You're welcome.
Neither. It's some sort of acorn with a funny hat. So if humans can't trust their own sensory reality, what can they trust? Well, how about the idea
Nothing.
that every decision they've ever made was completely out of their control? This is called determinism, a cheery bit of philosophy that argues that because every event in the universe is the product of past events, free will therefore doesn't exist. Any decision a human makes, no matter how impulsive it might seem in the moment, was predetermined by brain chemicals and their environment and the fact that the Earth formed at all, and a billion other factors that would have always played out the same way no matter what. This kind of thinking leads comfortably into nihilism, the idea that
Oh, get called out, nihilists! You just got told you don't have free will! I don't agree with that, though. I don't agree with determinism either.
life has no intrinsic meaning or value. Comfort
Determinism exists, quantum physics, and I took that personally. Checkmate, nihilist snowflake. No, I mean, I totally understand nihilism. I honestly have been called an optimistic nihilist, which might not be too far from the truth.
stuff, which leaves humans with limited options. There's the existentialist route, where since life has no inherent purpose, humans can instead craft their own, or the
Yeah, that one might be me.
absurdist route, where since life has no inherent purpose, humans can just do whatever. Relax if they feel like it.
Sure.
Nothing really matters. Or there's the route where they just feel really bummed out for perpetuity. A trend you might have noticed is that the philosophies that acknowledge the state of the world aren't very consoling. Even Stoicism, an ancient philosophy which is now hip again, is ultimately more about accepting the hardships of life than making those hardships go away. At first, I thought this was another amateur mistake, where someone forgot to add the objectively correct philosophy that fixes everything. But upon reflection, I think this—
I'm getting distracted by the background music again. Trying to remember which classical piece it is. It's so pretty.
At first, I thought this was another amateur mistake, where someone forgot to add the objectively correct philosophy that fixes everything. But upon reflection, I think this might be an inherent byproduct of the fact that it is difficult to be a human. To be a character in this setting is to experience pain. Bright spots too, and seeking a greater understanding of the world can help, but human life has fundamental drawbacks no one can fully escape from. No matter one's philosophical outlook, to live in this world is to experience sorrow. Good thing Earth is entirely fictional. Ha. Alright, let's brighten things up with some
Something that I think about, which might not help you. It's probably only going to help a niche subset of people, but maybe you're one of them. When I am feeling like nothing matters, everything is moot, I remind myself that everything that has ever been and will ever be is made of the same substance. You are made of the same thing that stars are made out of. Therefore, following that logic, you are the universe experiencing itself. That may not mean anything to a lot of you, but to me, I think that is very, very uplifting, very brightening. You are the universe experiencing itself. How can you not find that cool?
fun ethical thought experiments. Loads of philosophies come packaged with them, like the classic trolley problem, where there's 5 humans tied to a trolley track, 1 human tied to another, and you off to the side with a lever and the power to decide which track the trolley goes down.
This was presented to me in one of my high school history classes, the trolley problem, except I think it was posed as the track with the fewer amount of people on it was a track that had friends, people that you knew on it. And you could either choose to sacrifice the person that you knew or multiple people, or you could do nothing and say it's out of your hands. And me being the hero, well, me trying to be the hero that I wanted to be, I was so sure that I would choose to sacrifice the 1 person to save the many, even if it was somebody that I loved and knew. But I think realistically, I would just find a way to Tokyo drift the train and kill everybody, and then myself. No, honestly, if I were in this situation, I don't know if I would even be able to act. I feel like it would just happen before I could act. Realistically, though, I think if most people had the mental capacity to act, they would probably sacrifice the more people to save the person that they were loyal to.
This dilemma, of course, ignores the real question, which is who is tying all these folks to the trolley track and how do we get them to knock it off? Plato's cave is another famous dilemma about being stuck in a cave or something, it seems like. Cool shadows, though. Anyway, solution here also seems pretty simple, just go and leave the cave. Problem solved. Wow, ethics are easy. Less easy are paradoxes, logical fallacies.
Oh, that one hurted! That one hurted. That's gonna be a whole nother 20-minute tangent if we go off about the cave one. This video!
Fallacies that prove how simple it is to break Earth's rules. A paradox can be as basic as writing, "This sentence is a lie," or as circuitous as the barber paradox. So imagine there's a barber who claims he shaves all those and those only who do not shave themselves. Does this barber shave himself? Well, he can't shave himself, because he only shaves those who don't shave themselves, which means he would be shaving someone who shaves himself. But if he doesn't shave himself, then he'd be someone who'd be shaved by the barber, except he's the barber, so if he shaves himself, then he's someone who shaves. Nope, this reality is a scam, Earth sucks, we're canceling it. I could rest my case, but I've got some miscellaneous complaints. Okay, socks. One sock is always going missing in the wash, no explanation. There used to be creatures that explain this phenomenon, but it seems they've been decanonized. Holidays, celebrated once a year, even if that holiday is based on surprise. With April Fool's Day, you've got humans messing with each other and making prank videos, but how shocking can it really be if it's the same day every solar rotation? If you really wanted to get someone, you'd upload your prank video 2 months later on a completely random day. Also, why in a world with this fellow and this fellow and this fellow are there still no dragons? And if the writers were to add dragons, they'd probably hide them in what I believe to be Earth's out-of-bound zone, the deep ocean, because that place is full of creations that definitely weren't there a second ago.
Deep sea dragons! Deep sea dragons! Deep sea dragons! I want the deep sea dragons! I want space dragons, and I want volcano dragons, and I want the deep sea dragons!
You're telling me this thing has been floating around in the depths for eons, yet it was only found and added to the wiki in the last decade? Yeah, not buying it. Someone's sticking designs rejected for being too out there in a place they think no one will look. I've solved it. I've got this project on the ropes. I'm declaring victory. But I think my single biggest problem with Earth, to be completely candid, is the way I sometimes feel like I'll never understand it. which shouldn't bother me because it's nonsensical and overly complicated, and yet I've been studying this project for what sometimes feels like my entire life, but I still find myself occasionally baffled by basic things. Like when one is supposed to have a sense of where their life is headed, or why on a planet with 8 billion humans is it so easy to feel alone, or how anyone finds the time to iron. And though I've done my best to give Earth a fair review, I still—
Hey, if you need to de-wrinkle something quickly and you're busy, you can throw it in the dryer. I'm sorry, if you're not European, you can throw it in the dryer because most of the developed world has these things called dryers. You can throw it in the dryer and you can throw it in with like a wet sock or a wet washcloth or a wet towel or something, and that'll steam it and that'll get out a lot of the wrinkles.
I'll sometimes wonder if there's some obvious point I'm missing that everyone else is just aware of. I want to like this project, and I know it has potential, so maybe I should keep looking for meaning. Maybe there is something among all this noise that makes the world worthwhile. Like
anime
this.
girls.
Whoa, this is beautiful. What is— alright, never mind. We're raising the score 10 out of 10. Oh hey, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. I don't really have a way to turn this part into a bit, but seriously, your support means so much, and see you in the next video.
You know what? I'm very interested in this video right here that says monsters that God abandoned? Be afraid. I am very afraid. That's not deep sea dragons. That's— I really liked that video. That was a really good video. Really gets the brain juices flowing. But let me know if you like this kind of video because I liked it. I know that this isn't like the popular thing to be reacting to, but I think I had fun. I hope you had fun too. If there's something else you'd like to see me react to, leave a comment about it, tell me on Twitch, or come tell me on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Remember, Space Cowboys, it is never, ever, ever goodbye. It is always good later. Until next time, spoobs! Bye-bye. 3 days for a respawn isn't that bad! That only happened once ever. We still don't know how he did it.